I think another thing that's been raised by thinkers at the state and the government level regarding AI is the requirements that AI solutions be both auditable and interpretive and subject to interpretation. And sometimes the stacking of the neural networks within AI, because of the complexity and the weights between the different networks. Is that something that's under discussion, or is that too soon to get to that level in terms of where Texas is going?
I think it's a little too soon for where we are in our roadmap. However, I agree with you. I think that's always the concern and challenge, and where and how do you put the human in the loop? Where and how is that individual, the decisions being done? So obviously, if it's at a transactional level, there's audit capabilities that you can put into, the process flow. But in some of those situations where it's on the edge, where your algorithms aren't trained or aren't ready to handle a particular situation, what's the decision point to kick that back out to the human individual to do the research, to do the brain power on that particular thing, right?
Right.
Or you can't train the computer system to do it all. There's certain situations, and not every situation is going to be ready for that, and it's going to take time. And it's the training of the algorithms that takes the time, developing those protocols associated with that, so you have assurances that the decisions that are being made in a programmatic way are the same type of decisions that would be made if the individual was looking at it, if he or she was doing it, at their computer station. So
right, it wouldn't be a chief data officer conversation if we didn't raise a question, which I know you've heard many times, and that is, what's the perspective on blockchain, either now or in the future? Is it something that needs consideration in terms of data privacy and protection, or does Texas have a position, or just what's your thinking on that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I put that into the same kind of realm as AI, from a kind of a technology future growth type of thing. I think that blockchain has a place in public sector. I just think finding the right use case associated with that does need to be examined more. We're not currently involved in that. But it's certainly our chief technology officer and his office are looking at opportunities and ways to do that. How can we integrate that? How can we create a proof of concept use case to validate the success and value of a blockchain type of arrangement? So I don't have a whole depth of response, I think, on that, Tim, but I think that it does have a play. And where and how it plays in the public sector will need to be uncovered. So
yeah, I hear that from time to time, and I think that you're in good company with that assessment. I think it's still early days, particularly for governmental adoption of something like blockchain. Even when you see hesitancy in the private sector among a lot of organizations to do so, fintech excluded, and some of the other examples where blockchain is used, I think that that's a consensus viewpoint, is what you've outlined.
Yeah, I think one of the things in our world that we always say is that state agencies, nobody wants to be first, but nobody wants to be last, right? So, we kind of know that and try to work with our partners, particularly for new opportunities. And blockchain or AI opportunities, those types of things will come over time as we continue to do our job.